Why is it so important to show your gratitude in a relationship? Why is gratitude important in a relationship? When we discuss this course of universal human values, we often discuss the success of a relationship. What are the factors important for the success of a good relationships? Many factors are there, but a very important factor here is the idea of gratitude. How often and how sincerely you express gratitude to the person with whom you're discussing your relationship. So, gratitude means the feeling of thankfulness, acknowledging the positive efforts, the positive merits in a relationship. Now, why is it so important? Any relationship, whether it is between a husband and a wife, or between two friends, or between parent and child, or between siblings, or between friends, and so on, every relationship it arrives at a point where the members involved they start feeling that they are being taken for granted, that their efforts are not acknowledged, that their good points, their merit, their qualities, they go unnoticed. So one of the things that gratitude, the habit of showing gratitude does is that it removes or at least addresses this problem of your friends or your family members feeling that they are being taken for granted. So it's very important to show to the other person that how much you are thankful to have them in your life. Secondly, gratitude is important not only for the other person, but also gratitude is also important for the person who is expressing it. So it is important for you also. Why? Because quite often we are tempted to believe that our partners are insufficient for us. The world around us, it wants us to believe that uh, there was someone better than them out there. And this thought, oh, I wish I was born to better parents or to better siblings I had. I wish I had better friends or I wish I had better partner. This kind of feeling, it starts creeping in because you often compare your relationship with others. Gratitude is some sort of medicine to it. You need to acknowledge it not only for the other person but also to yourself. You need to make some conscious effort to notice those things which you are getting in that relationship so that your outlook also changes towards it. So gratitude, it changes the attitude of both the two parties involved in a relationship. The one to whom it is being expressed and the one who is expressing that gratitude. Gratitude keeps the relationship alive. It keeps the relationship fresh, and it prevents it from stagnation. So, for example, when you bring in some apples and vegetables and some fruits, you place them there, and slowly, though they will start getting spoiled, they will start getting rotten, or dust will start settling on them. Gratitude is something which will keep the dust, the germs, that aging away. It will impart in them a sort of freshness. Yes, sometimes gratitude, it feels cringy, especially to those people who have never expressed it. And unfortunately, we also live in a society where we are taught how to curb our emotions, and we are somehow not taught how to express them in an efficient or in a meaningful way. So we express our emotions in a haphazard manner. We do express them. We express them in a chaotic manner. We sometimes have an outburst of emotions where we start crying or yelling, or sometimes we go to some extreme points to show how much we love or how much we dislike something. But what we should do is that before the situation it escalates to a great height, we should start addressing them before it. And managing your emotions and expressing your emotions is very important. Showing gratitude is also very important. As I said, we often express our anger because expressing anger is not directly in our control. You feel tempted to express your anger. Even you know that you need to control it. There may be 100 times when You might have said to yourself that next time I will not get angry, or I will not shout, or I will not yell, or do something negative when I'm angry. But even then you end up uh, expressing that anger in a very violent or abusive manner. But when it comes to positive emotions like expressing love or being thankful or being grateful, then we do not do those things automatically. There is a quite good possibility that you may be really in awe of a person who is in your life, but you would not express it because your hormones will not push you to express it in the way anger or violence or aggression, it pushes you to express those kind of emotions. So what I want to say here is, when it is about positive emotions, when you love someone, then show it. When you like someone, then show it. So whether it's your spouse who's making small efforts or big efforts, and these efforts need not be very dramatic efforts. These efforts can be from daily life events. Someone just preparing a breakfast for you, someone just picking up you and dropping you at some places, someone taking care of that you get a good sleep at night, or you get a good food for yourself, or someone who is there to listen to you, even if they are not doing anything, if they're not providing you with some tangible stuff, even if they are there to listen to you, that is also a good contribution. But how many of us have taken time and efforts to acknowledge these positive things? So it's important that you disconnect yourself from reality for a moment and then start observing yourself as an outsider, and then you should start seeing, okay, how much grateful you are, and you should, or how much grateful you should be for the good things that have happened to you in your life. Showing gratitude or being in a state of positive, where you start being positive about life, where you start showing gratitude for all the good things that have happened to you. It's great, it's wonderful, and it's good for different aspects of life, not just for relationship, but in relationship, it really makes a very good impact. So next time, think about it. If you think that your relationships is going through some rough patch, or it is missing that spark, or it is not fulfilling its expected roles, or there's something lacking, then the best way is not to complain or crib about what is missing, but it is to acknowledge what you are actually getting in that relationship. So when you acknowledge, when you admire the other person, when you appreciate the other person, one thing is that they would be encouraged to put in greater efforts. There is a possibility that those things that are missing, some of them, they might be addressed, you might start getting them. But even if those things are not addressed, or even if those gaps still remain, and it is quite possible that those gaps would remain, not every gap can be filled, then at least in your own heart, in your own mind, you will find some peace, you will find that positivity, and you will be able to acknowledge, you will be able to look at those things. There is a very famous saying that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It's rather a line picked up from the poem of a very famous romantic era poet. But that line is very true. How the world appears to you as you see it. So your perspective determines to a great extent what your reality around you is. So the health of your relationship, what is that health of your relationship? It depends upon how you define or how you look at that relationship. If you keep comparing it with others, if you keep comparing it with what you watch on social media, which is often fake, if you keep comparing it with the best of things that you get to see in the outside world, you will always be disillusioned. You will always be left in a state of want and longing and craving for more. So be grateful, accept that yes, there are certain things which are lacking, and it is okay. Relationships and life is governed by nature, and it's not perfect. There is nothing perfect in it. So our fantasies, our dreams, our aspirations, they are important, but we should not let them overwhelm the realities of life. And realities of life are not as beautiful as our fantasies, but they are not as bad as we picturize them quite often. And this extends to relationships also. So your spouse, or as I said earlier, your parents or your siblings or your children, they're not as bad as sometimes you might feel tempted to believe them. And this world today which you are living in, it conspires, it it thrives on sprouting feelings of distrust and anxiety in you towards your own family members. When you develop those negative feelings, then you would possibly become a recipe, or some sort of fodder material for this industry or this consumerist industry that exists around you. So take a few steps back, go back and think and look at your spouse or your partner, your parents, or all those people with whom you have some sort of relationship, and start feeling grateful, start feeling gratitude. How do we express gratitude? That's a topic of discussion, maybe a different topic of discussion, but you should be sincere in it. You should express in a language which the other person understands. A language, I mean not Hindi or English. What I mean here is that everyone has a different love language, everyone has different requirements, and you know that person better than anyone else. So you should express your gratitude in the way that how the other person understands it, with those tokens of love with the other which are important to the other person or which are desired by the other person. And at least words are very important here. Words. And when you express it, you should look sincere. You should look honest. It should not look fake. Yes, maybe one or two times when you express it initially, the other person might be surprised, or he might think that, okay, why are you doing so? But over a period of time, they would realize that you genuinely mean those things. And for them to believe that you genuinely mean that idea of thankfulness, or you're actually grateful to them, it is important that you actually become grateful for them. So it is not just about picking up some words or picking up some gifts to convey your feelings. It is important, but it is also important to peek inside your own heart and amend certain things over there, and realize that, okay, how lucky, how fortunate you are to have the other person in your life. A lot of songs in movies, in cinemas, in literature, poetry, they explore this idea that when you express to the other person that how important they are. I think expressing this feeling of gratitude is one of the most underrated quality or ingredient of a good relationship, but it is very important. So again, start looking in your life and think how you can make your life, and especially your relationships, better by this idea of gratitude. I hope this makes your life better.